Thank you, Mr. Sinclair, for that nice introduction. It's good to see you too. Mr. Sinclair and I go back a long ways. You said that I was here for 15 years, and that's true. And I remember that Mr. Sinclair, I think, came 1 year after I did. And then took a little break in the middle, and when he left, I said, "You'll be back." He said, "No, I won't." And he came back. Cardigan is lucky to have him, and I want to thank Mr. Irwin and Mr. McCusker for inviting me back here today. It's wonderful to be back in front of you to speak. This is a place that holds warm, fond memories for me, as well as a few other memories we'll leave on the side. I've had the privilege to sit where you are and to listen to 15 years of investiture ceremonies, speakers, and it's an honor to be added somehow to that list of people. Public moments like these are the lifeblood that brings Cardigan together, the glue that binds the family. I miss those moments. I'm in a very different school now, and these are the moments that made Cardigan special. I want to also preface these remarks with the point that what I say today may seem like it's geared towards leaders, but in fact it's geared towards all of you. It's geared towards myself because I have a lot to learn about leadership as well. Whether you are a leader currently, a titled leader, or a non-titled leader, whether you hope to become a titled leader today, whether you're disappointed by the end of today, no one is excused from leadership. It is a responsibility we all bear. It is a challenge we all must rise up to, and it is a goal we must all set. When one thinks of leadership, we must recognize that there are many forms of leadership, many styles, many purposes which leadership may serve. What I would like to focus on today is a type of leadership that you can provide here at Cardigan, whether you have a title or not. In doing so, I'd like to tell you two stories. From these two stories, hopefully we'll be able to derive some lessons, some examples, which you can use as tools to develop your own leadership. A number of years ago, Cardigan sent several hockey teams to a tournament in Montreal and chose to form the teams based strictly on age, which meant mixing players from the varsity and JV programs. I have to say this was Mr. McCusker's idea, and to me it didn't make any sense at all. It worked out brilliantly, by the way. Mr. McCusker clearly knew something I didn't at the time. I was a JV coach, and I was paired with a varsity coach who went by the name of Mr. Barker. Some of you may remember him. He's hard to forget if you've met him before. When we arrived in Montreal, after a long drive, the boys were sleepy, had bus legs, we hadn't eaten in hours. Even worse, some of our top players were beginning to question, openly doubting this idea of mixed teams, of having JV players and thirds players on the same team. How would we win a tournament this way? Shouldn't we put our best team forward? But no, that's not the plan that we had for it. Furthermore, they were unsure about the team's JV goaltender. How could we win a tournament with a JV goaltender? This is not a good way to start a tournament. When we took the ice for our first game's warm-up, we unzipped the game bag and realized that we had forgotten the game pucks. We had nothing to warm up with. This is also not a good way to start a tournament. There's no time to go find pucks. We only had a 5-minute warm-up. This is a tournament. There are games scheduled after games. What were we going to do? I had no idea. Panic and frustration spread into the team. The players knew we had no pucks. They didn't know what was going on. We were in danger of self-destructing before our tournament even started. Then something very strange happened, something I've never seen before. Mr. Barker immediately responded with quick thinking brilliance. He called the team to the bench and explained to them that they were going to use a strategy that he had used at UNH. He had been a UNH player. Players would go through the normal warm-up and pretend that they had actual pucks. They would pretend they were passing, stick handling, and shooting. Our goalie would pretend to be making saves. This was without a doubt the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard before. I was pretty sure it never happened at UNH. These players didn't seem too convinced either. Mr. Barker acted as if nothing was wrong. Of course he would go through warm-ups without pucks and just pretend. What team doesn't do that once in a while? Of course this works. All the professional sports psychologists had proven it, and teams used it. Just go out there and have fun with it, he told them. But you have to embrace it. You have to believe it for it to work. You have to imagine all your passes are connected. Your stick handling moves are all working. Your shots are all scoring. Our goalie was told to close his eyes and imagine making saves. It wasn't dangerous because we had no pucks in the first place. You had to believe in yourself to imagine you were playing the best game of your life. I was definitely not believing, but what else could we do? The players went on the ice and shouted. People in the stands laughed at us, pointed at us, thought we were generally idiots. An hour later, when the final buzzer sounded, we'd sealed a 2-0 shutout victory against a very good team. Later that afternoon, we played again, and even though we had found some pucks to use for warm-ups, the team decided we should use Mr. Barker's secret weapon. Every forward pulled their filthiest toe drags, threaded the needle with their pass, and sniped every shot. Every defenseman stuffed 2-on-1s. Our goalie made the gaudiest saves against imaginary shots that anybody had ever seen before. People were ridiculous. People thought we were ridiculous. And I suspect they came from the other rinks just to watch the clowns from Cardigan warm up. But by the end of the weekend, we had the tournament championship. And our JV goaltender had won the most outstanding player of the tournament award with 3 shutouts and 1 goal against in 4 games. What I learned that day is that as a leader, one of the most important things you can do is to shape the perceptions of those people you're trying to lead, especially when times get tough. They will look to you. They will test you. And how you respond to adversity will tell them how they should respond, what they should think, and how they should act. Mr. Barker took what would have been a disaster and instantly modeled the exact attitude he wanted his players to have, and communicated it clearly and confidently. And they responded in a way that I could never have imagined. As leaders of your team, your dorm, your job supervisor, your attitude will be contagious. If you show confidence in your own leadership, firmness, fairness, and a positive attitude, that attitude will spread to those who you're trying to lead, and many will follow you. You set the tone in your dorm, your locker room, around campus, and people will respond. And if you doubt yourself, just remember a tournament champion team who didn't use pucks during warm-ups.